Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead tarot scope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. For your key to the week this week, you have the Star card. Hope, optimism, joy, looking out toward the future are some of the things that you could say with this card. But what it really speaks to for me is a glimpse into your personal future. So in all areas of your life this week, there are likely to be little glimpses or little moments, little precognitive moments, let's say, where you kind of get a glimpse or a little understanding of how something is likely to go, what the results are likely to be, which means this week is a powerful week for you to prepare or plan ahead based on those glimpses that you get. But they will be short, sharp, sort of what's the word that I'm looking for? Because, Gemini is very much like that. And although your ruling planet is retrograde at this moment in time, this could be a moment at which those fleeting little sort of glimpses or, flashes into the future, pay attention to those because they're going to be giving you tips, tricks and hints for you to sort of, really in a way sidestep some of the challenges that might come up for you or make the most of the blessings that are about to show up for you at this time. With that said, if you are a continued subby, Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the 8 of Wands. I love this, especially with the Star card. That is long distance communication that's coming in. So this would be Zoom calls, Skype calls. This is you interacting with people at a distance, getting a very big or a very deep understanding of things that are going on at a distance from you. It could also be where you are connecting to or having opportunities come in over the phone, over the internet. So whatever's happening or showing up for you now, this is stuff that is likely to be a part of your future going forward. So this could be very, very exciting in a lot of ways. It's going to be a very busy week for communication for you guys. With that said, Mercury is retrograde, so just make sure that you're either writing down or taking notes, or double check whatever it is that you think you've heard. This though, especially with that Star card, this is like a glimpse. How busy you are this week is going to show you how busy you will be from here on in. For your communications and conversations, you've got the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups has been very, very, well, I say very, very active, but in different decks so far, the 9 of Cups has come up in this space already twice, which tells me that on the wider world stage, I always look to the Aries readings and the Gemini readings to see or to kind of gauge what's going on the wider world stage. Aries because it's the first sign that represents sort of the self, or so the wider self as well, and Gemini because it's the media. This tells me that this week we're likely to see a mending, a healing of a rift, a quietening or a quelling of some sort of argument, rift or challenge. So that could be interesting. This underneath that Star card, your communications this week, right? So you've already had communication come up in your actions and options. It's going to be a busy week, but in your communications, that 9 of Cups is really opening you up to hearing the right things, but also to seeing results through your communications. Now, in terms of the glimpses that will come in, this will be that through conversations, through personal understandings, or maybe even through personal, like relating, like how you speak about things or relaying information. It might be that you hear something in what you say and kind of go, I think I'm ready to remedy that now. I think I'm ready to change how I view that, how I view myself in that regard. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I really like this because for me, this is like you're getting a deeper understanding of your subject matter, but more importantly, you're realizing that you really are well placed. Like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to study. This is what I feel like I'm ready to start delivering out into the world. So for some of you, this could literally be you're preparing your work life already while you're doing your studies on said subject. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, Nine of Cups with the Star card, your people, the people that you work with, maybe not necessarily the higher ups or anything like that, but certainly your colleagues, your peers, etc. They have got your back. And I think this week you will have a really nice moment of realization where, like, wow, you know what? They like me. They really, really like me. All jokes aside, I think you're going to feel a lot of support this week. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this is the realization of a long-standing plan or goal. This is something that you've already been working on for a long time, something that's taken time, energy, resources, maybe has had more than enough hiccups, etc. This is it coming good. This is where a big final project, and this is the thing, people often say this about Mercury retrograde, like, oh, but it's the retrograde and I don't know really whether I should wrap it up now. A Mercury retrograde is actually a perfect time to close out a cycle, to finish things that are already open, to wrap up loose ends. They're great times for that. That's how I've been using this one already. So use that to your advantage, and the fact that Mercury is your ruler as well, and it's in your sign, so it's still got dignity, it's just retrograde. Use this to wrap things up, especially a big plan, goal, cycle that you've been working on for some time, because when it goes direct, that's when you're going to see the results. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I think this is like this. Sorry, I had to stare into space there, like downloading. This is you getting a much more powerful understanding of your place in everything. I actually think this could be a very profound week for those of you that are retired, because you're starting to look, almost like you're starting to look at ways that you, not even like the ways that you show up in the world, but it's like you're starting to look at, how, and I say this cautiously because I'm really peeved with the spiritual community at the moment about this purpose stuff. But it's like you're looking at your life and saying, you know what, I actually feel like I've fulfilled my purpose. Like, have I finished it? No, probably not, because, otherwise I'd be on another plane floating around somewhere. But I feel like I've fulfilled what I needed to do. This could be a powerful personal realization at a very deep sort of personal level. With that Nine of Cups, there's a sense of peace here, especially with the Star card. It's even more profound, and it's an understanding that there is really hope for the future. It's like, yes, I've achieved a lot, but I'm not out for the count. For your love and relations, you have the Judgment card. So for those of you that are single, internet dating. For those of you that are single as well, if you've spoken to somebody previously, maybe you met online and then you lost touch, or you stopped communicating for any number of reasons, this is a redo, sort of another bite at the apple, another go round, another chance to do this, because the Judgment card is always a blast from the past. And so this, for me, is kind of saying to you, somebody that maybe you thought maybe at the time you thought, I really feel like this could be going somewhere, and then it just fizzled out. This person could be coming back in, which is really nice. But you got to be discerning. Are they coming back in because this is what they do and this is their pattern and I'm allowing that? Or are they coming back in for this time, and it is potential this time for it actually to knit back together properly? For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, I think this is about the need or the understanding that there's a desire for change within the relationship. And, you know, with that Judgment card, you are being called to talk about what you believe is either out of place or is not, like what is not giving, you know, like what are the elements that are stopping the whole thing from running smoothly? It's like, you know, the particles in the petrol of a car, right? Sometimes you have to drain it all out in order to get rid of those. And then when you put the fuel back in, everything runs proper. It kind of feels like that to me. The Judgment card is always big change though. So your relationship sector is going through changes right now. For your money and materials, you've got the Death card. I mean, it's not actually that detrimental. I will say this. The Tower card has been quite active this week. And usually what happens is when the Death card shows up, you're presented with a choice that says you can let this go. Or if you don't and you refuse to, you end up at the Tower later on. So when it comes to your money, your finances and your resources, for some of you, this could be the end of a debt. You got it right underneath the 9 of Cups. It could be the forgiving of a debt for some of you as well, which could be really nice. It could also be that you realize that there is something that you're paying for or something that you're spending on that really doesn't have any place in your life anymore. This could be looking at where you are either wasting or bleeding money for no reason or for reasons that can no longer be justified. So it's a moment of sort of really powerful self-honesty, I think, in your finances, in your relationship to money. The Death card, because you've got the Star card here, this could be a powerful, like a really powerful realization of, okay, this thing that I'm spending money on, that I'm putting my resources into, I have to let that go now. It's not going to serve me any further forward. And it could also be a glimpse into where a certain financial commitment takes you or doesn't, as the case may be. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is going to be your reproductive system. It could also be, because the Death card, right, it's about death, endings, culminations, completions. Doesn't mean all Geminis are suddenly going to keel over. What it means is this could be you letting go of something. Maybe you're letting go of a bad habit, smoking, drinking, I don't know, you know, any number of vices. For a lot of you, this could be a moment at which you're like, well, I usually enjoy this, but I'm not enjoying it anymore, which means that that's no longer a pleasure, it's just a vice. When it comes to your home and environment, the Death card, for some of you, this could spell the beginning of the end of the place that you're living in. This might be a moment at which you kind of realize, I can't stay here any longer. It's time for me to leave. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.